What if I told you that for the last 40 years, we've been building software all wrong? Seriously, what if the main user for our developer tools shouldn't be a person at all, but an autonomous AI agent? Well, today, we are diving deep into Loom, a totally radical philosophy that wants to flip software development on its head by designing for machines first. Okay, let's get into it.
Now, this quote right here, it's a pretty bold statement, isn't it? It comes from Jeffrey Huntley, who is the mind behind this whole concept. And his argument is actually pretty simple, but it's profound. Think about it. All of our tools, from our IDEs to Git, they are all built for human hands, for human brains. But now, in the age of AI, that entire foundation might just be holding us back. It might be time to rethink everything.
And this slide just lays out that shift perfectly. Over on the left, that's the world we all live in now, right? The human developer is the star of the show. We use graphical interfaces, command lines, all of it is designed to make coding easier for us. But now look to the right. That's the Loom paradigm. The primary user, it's an AI agent. The interface, a clean, simple API. And the goal, the entire goal, is to make it dead simple for machines to build and evolve software all by themselves.
So here's how we're going to break this all down today. First, we'll dig a little deeper into this radical new philosophy. Then we'll talk about the shift from managing humans to programming loops. We'll take a look inside the Loom system itself, learn a surprisingly powerful technique to drive it, and then discover a whole new mindset for dealing with failure. And finally, we'll wrap up with how you can start weaving yourself.
All right, let's jump right in. Section 1, from humans to loops. So what's actually broken about the way we do things right now? Let's really get to the core of the problem that this entire philosophy is trying to solve.
The central argument here is that we are stuck. We are working at completely the wrong level of abstraction. We're basically micromanaging AI agents one by one using the same old developer tools that haven't really changed in decades. It's like we're the direct supervisor for every single tiny task, and you know what? That just doesn't scale.
So the solution is to move up a level. We need to stop managing individual agents and instead start programming loops. Now this is really the key. In this model, your job as the developer changes completely. You just define the high-level goals. You set the success criteria. And then a system, an orchestrator, takes over and manages all the different agents needed to actually get the job done.
And this visual just makes that change so clear. The old way, that's that constant back and forth, that one-on-one chat with a single AI. But the new way, it's a flow. You program the loop tells an orchestrator what to do, and that orchestrator directs a whole swarm of agents. See the difference? Your job isn't to do the work anymore, it's to define the work that needs to be done.
Okay, let's move on. Section 2, inside the Loom. This is where we get to see how all this theory becomes a real practical system. This is what brings it all to life. Now, to really wrap your head around this, you have to appreciate the metaphor, because it's perfect. Think back to the Industrial Revolution and how the mechanical loom totally changed how we made clothes. Loom, the system, aims to be that exact same kind of revolutionary machine, but for weaving software. So what is Loom? It is that orchestrator. It's the infrastructure, built from the ground up, to take those loops you programmed and manage the autonomous agents, which, yeah, they're called weavers, to turn your high-level ideas into actual working code. And it's all built on 3 core parts that stick with this amazing theme. First, you have the weavers. Those are the AI agents doing the actual work. Then you have threads, which are like a perfect, unchangeable diary of everything a weaver has done. This is so important because it gives crucial context to other agents. And finally, you have the spool. Think of it like Git, but completely reimagined for machines, not people. It's optimized for agents to collaborate at just insane speed.
Okay, on to Section 3, the Ralph Wiggum technique. So how do you actually control all these weavers? Well, this is where a deceptively simple yet ridiculously powerful technique comes into play.
Yep, it's really called the Ralph Wiggum technique. But don't let that goofy name fool you. The whole idea is to create the absolute simplest, most direct, you might even say dumbest loop possible to get an agent to do one single focused thing. No complex logic, just one task, one objective, one loop. That's it.
And this one simple building block, it is unbelievably versatile. You can use it in a forward direction to build brand new software just from a list of specs. You can run it in reverse to analyze and perfectly clone a system that already exists. Or you can even use it to put an entire system under test, verifying everything from end to end.
It's pretty incredible.
All right, on to our next section, engineering away failure. Because when you start letting agents run wild in these simple loops,
You have to adopt a totally different mindset, especially when things go wrong.
And this, right here, is the key. With this model, software stops being this rigid, fragile thing that you're afraid to even touch. It becomes like clay. It's malleable, it's easy to reshape, and it's simple to fix. Now that is a revolutionary idea. It completely changes your relationship with failure. It's no longer something to be scared of. It's just a minor inconvenience.
So instead of building these huge, complex processes to try and prevent failure, this philosophy says you should embrace it. You lean into it. You actually feel the failure as it's happening. You figure out what kind of failure it is, and then you just spin up another targeted Ralph loop to engineer that entire class of problem out of existence. It's really that simple.
And that's a really powerful question to think about. What if? This reframes the whole engineering process. You move from slow, careful prevention to just rapid, systematic correction. You can move so much faster because fixing things becomes trivial.
And that brings us to our final section, your turn to weave. So what does all this mean for you, the developer? And how can you start thinking in this new way?
Look, this is so much more than just a new framework or tool you have to learn. It's really an invitation. It's a prompt to just experiment, to reimagine what's possible when your biggest bottleneck isn't how fast you can type, but how fast you can think. The goal here is to optimize for one thing above all else, pure, unadulterated speed. So give it a try in your own projects. See what you can build.
And hey, if you want to see more of this kind of vibe-coded magic in action, the source for today's explainer has an absolutely fantastic channel. Go look up VibeDoc on YouTube and just smash that subscribe button. Seriously, you don't want us to have to send a Ralph loop to do it for you.
So, we'll leave you with that one last, provocative thought. When the primary user of your entire development environment is an army of tireless, autonomous agents just waiting to do whatever you tell them, what new class of software will you create? What becomes possible then?